Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkion, and we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Cloud9. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Bleed Esports. It is NightMare. We go. See someone asking, where is MaxPax? Yeah, MaxPax is usually here for KungFu Cup. That's actually a good question. MaxPax wasn't here for KungFu Cup, and I believe, if not mistaken, MaxPax also wasn't here for ESL Americas a couple of days ago. So, maybe something's going on IRL, whether it's studies or something else. But yeah, MaxPax has been suspiciously absent from some of these events, from ESL Americas and from KungFu Cup. But I'm sure he'll be here next week. I'm sure MaxPax will be back next week. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'm seeing more of him next time. Hold on, I gotta open up the Google Translate. Gotta open it up. Just in case. Okay, we're good. We are good. So now it's going to be a double gas. So open a double gas, what does that mean? That means a faster factory at a GuMiho delayed command center from our Korean Terran player. So entering our faster factory can lead into faster tech. This could be for Reactor Reaper Hellion, could be for a Widowmine drop, could be for initially Cyclones. GuMiho is going to be initially the aggressor here, as NightMare does recall the pro back home, getting a full scout, and back at home just going for a standard gate expand or gate cyber expand. Standard open out of NightMare. He's now aware of the opener of his opponent. GuMiho is going to be a little bit less economic early on, but now going for the CC after the factory. And we'll see what this all leads into. Meanwhile, the first Reaper gets across the map, and our tech of choice is going to be a Twilight Council from NightMare. Should be Blink from our Korean Protoss. Should be able to get into Blink. I mean, we could technically go into Charge or even into DTs, but yeah, very, very unorthodox. Very rarely do we see something other than Blink from a Twilight Council. It's quite rare. The Reaper gets forced back, and GuMiho has yet to confirm what exactly the tech is. GuMiho is in the dark. Reaper gets forced back. And the Reaper takes an extra hit. Oh, the Reaper goes down. Very nice pick off here from NightMare. Behind this, we're getting to a very fast tank. Oh my god. Insanely fast tank production. I was curious as to, okay, what is the factory for? You know, Widowmine drop, Hellions, Cyclones. No. It's for the tech lab right into the tank. Very aggressive build here by GuMiho. He's waiting for his medevac, and he's going to be sending everything across the map as quickly as possible. And NightMare, for the time being, is unaware. NightMare, he's working towards Blink. I'm working towards his second gateway. Robo's on the way. Safety shield battery at the natural. Now, this move out from GuMiho is typically designed to go for the pylon. This pylon specifically. This is Nartos' pylon. It is gonna not just the pylon, but also the tech as well. The cyber core, the Twilight Council, the gateway. Tank is moving out, and we'll see what we can get done. Blink is being chronoed as we speak. Drop is moving out. Headed towards this location. And again, for the time being, NightMare a little bit distracted by the initial Hellion. Drop comes in, we're going for the pylon. And the tank should be able to focus it down. Ooh, does take some hits. Does take some hits, and last the pylon will fall. Blink, oh, we dive in! We dive on top of the medevac. The medevac does go down. Very nice cleanup here as NightMare punishes it so hard. Blink finished up just in the nick of time, and with Blink, we shut down the medevac, the tank, the Marines, and this was not worth of a GuMiho. GuMiho in a lot of trouble. I mean, sure, he got a pylon, but it wasn't worth it. Remember, Blink finished up just before the pylon went down. And now the ball is in NightMare's court. We've got 2 gateways here at the natural, 1 gateway in the main. It's a 3-gate blink. Going for a third. I was going to say that NightMare could potentially counterattack, but back at home we're pretty well set up, and NightMare does not have a Warp Prism. Does not have a way to reinforce, so he's going to take a more economic approach. A more tech-heavy approach. Liberator rocks up. Gets a probe. Gets 2. Gets 3 probes. That's okay. Liberator goes down, and we are rushing towards Storm. And again, GuMiho can't really threaten NightMare. Even trying to force friendly fire. But yeah, NightMare, he's free to take his 3rd base, to tech up into Storm, into Charge, work towards his forges and upgrades. The Observer from NightMare likewise is going to let him know if there's ever a move out. We can see that upgrades just began, and we have a 3rd CC on the way. So GuMiho is macroing up. GuMiho is not going for a 2-base all-in. I just saw that. I just caught up with the chat. MaxPax is enjoying some sun, I think. I highly doubt he would ever do that. It's against his will, Pappy. Oh no. He's being tied up outside, forced to embrace the vitamin D. Smooch. But yeah, MaxPax has been MIA for a couple of days, but I'm sure we'll see him again next week. We'll keep an eye out for MaxPax. We'll see if we can spot him. As for now, we do have NightMare saturating his 3rd. Storm is done, and we have the High Templar loaded up. They're loaded up in the Prism. We have potential. We could try to storm the main army. We could even try to go for some Storm Harass. I mean, there's almost nothing here. We can just dive on the tanks. Tanks will siege. NightMare backs off. But with this charge timing, NightMare, he can break through this. 2 tanks and a handful of Marines and Marauders. We're looking quite vulnerable. Yeah, we're waiting for 1 extra warp in. And NightMare, he's getting ready to go for the kill. 3rd tank has arrived. We're getting some SimCity going. Here come reinforcements. Suddenly, okay, this position looking more heavily fortified. And we're coming in for the storm. It does dive in. The storms, they will connect. Oh my god, massive storms on the bio. And we break through the tanks. There's still 2 storms left, or even 1 storm left. We don't waste them. We hold on to them. Another massive warp in. And GuMiho, he's in trouble. I mean, there's nothing left. We lost all the tanks. There's a bunker. There's Marines and Marauders now coming out. We're going for the 3rd. We're going for the CC. The storms. They connect. I believe we have 1 storm left. Yeah, just barely 1 storm. Can we kill the 3rd base? The boys are being pulled. The storm. A risky storm. Didn't quite connect with too much there. Got some SCVs. We have plenty of SCVs. It's fine. We have plenty. 27 workers go down. Archon morphs in. GG gets called, and NightMare takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very crisp timing there out of NightMare. Remember, initially shutting down the drop play of GuMiho, shutting it down very hard, and then working towards 3-base saturation, storm, and charge. And once he had what he needed, he just committed across the map. He saw how vulnerable GuMiho was because he had lost so much earlier, how exposed he was at the 3rd, and NightMare went for the kill. Did go for the kill. Now, NightMare 1 game away from taking the entire series. Again, NightMare, he has some killer PvT. We see NightMare take down players like Clem and Bjorn and Cure on the regular. GuMiho is a different kind of Terran player, to be fair. He's very unique in his own way. But in the PvT matchup and the PvP matchup, NightMare, he's world class. Is world class. Similarly to Skillus, NightMare, his PvZ holds him back more often than not. Interesting how that goes. But I would say NightMare similarly to Skillus as well, where the matchup that they are working on the most is PvZ, and if they were to be knocked down in a tournament, it's usually a Zerg player to do so. Well, they can look quite dominant against the other races, and here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into game 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Cloud9. It is GuMiho. And spawning. in the top right-hand corner. We have as opponent, we have the South Green Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Bleed Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is NightMare. Let's go. Getting into game 2, NightMare needs one more here to advance on into the semifinals. He is so close to getting there, at least to the semis. Meanwhile, GuMiho, I mean, he's done well for himself. He took down Raynor. Not an easy opponent, not an easy feat to bring Raynor down. Likewise, GuMiho just hot off a Home Story Cup win. Not just a win, but also a weekend at Home Story Cup. Everyone knows that you're hungover for at least a week after after a Home Story Cup. True. And we're going for a proxy. Had my eyes on the probe, and NightMare setting up a proxy across the map, looking to go for, I imagine, a 2-gate opener. There we go. We have one gateway across, we have one gateway back at home. And the reason why this build is that much more powerful and potent on Ghost River is because of the rush distance by ground. Doesn't take too long at all for this gateway here to reinforce. So it should be a Zealot from this initial gateway and an Adept or a Stalker from the proxied. There we go, Zealot's on the way. The way this works is by the time this Zealot gets across the map, it's lined up with our second unit. And then with this first gateway, we can reinforce with an Adept that can shade across the map and get across the map quite quickly. Then follow it up with a Stalker. So it should be like a kitchen sink, like amalgamation of an army. And GuMiho is going double gas. Okay. This is, I want to say, a little bit more ideal for GuMiho. He's not being too greedy. He's getting into his factory. Into a second gas geyser. First Zealot has arrived. Adept is on the way, as we mentioned, shade across the map. Stalker here on the front lines. Zealot will get some swipes in. Oof. Likewise, let's get some shots to the face. Meanwhile, GuMiho going for the CC on the high ground. Very safe play to GuMiho. If it was on the low ground, it would be exposed. It would be vulnerable. With the Stalker, we can still... Can we get within range? Not quite. Attempting to knock down the front door. Reactor is under fire. Boys are going to have to be pulled to repair. Yeah, and the SCV barely out of range of the Stalker. Just focusing on the reactor. Oh, Reaper goes down. Additional units rocking up. SCVs are falling. We got one SCV so far. And can we break in? Once the Cyclone arrives, the Cyclone will clean this up. But the Cyclone is still in production for a couple more seconds. We got 4 SCV kills, and we do delay the CC. Just barely. Command Center does not finish. Bunker doesn't finish either. Boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled in. So many more workers go down. 6 SCVs in total. Cyclone does stand strong, but it's on its own. And once again, we get another SCV. Going for the depot. Behind this, we're expanding. We're not going all in. We've done enough. At this point, NightMare, he's done enough damage. I'm sure he's content. Takes down another SCV. Delays the CC even longer. Doesn't get the depot at least. The depot does survive. And NightMare has to back up. With the arrival of the second Cyclone, GuMiho is secure, but his economy is so delayed. Thankfully, what do we have behind this? A Banshee. Banshee production here for GuMiho. Banshee is on the way. But we have a defensive robot. We can get into disruptor. Into an observer. The other one. We do have access to observer production. This was assuming that we were going into cloak, but never mind. It's going to be vanilla Banshees, so we don't even need cloak. Don't worry about it. Banshees, they can counterattack, of course. They can try to get some counter economic damage. NightMare, he's up 10 workers. And NightMare is doubling down. NightMare, he has a 3rd gateway and a prism. His goal here is to break the natural. And GuMiho, what do we have to defend? We don't have a tank. The tank is on the way, but it's not going to finish in time. Here comes NightMare. He's coming in. And we're going to make a short series out of this as we dive on top of the army. Cyclone does get a lock-on. We break the lock-on with the juggling. The Banshee's moving out across the map, but we don't care. Not anymore. We're pushing in. Natural base is denied. Banshee does make it into the mineral line. Boys being pulled away. One Cyclone falls. We do get the tank, though. The tank has arrived. And suddenly, with the help of this tank, we can hold. GuMiho can hold on, but he's contained. The reality here is that he's contained it to one base. NightMare able to reestablish his 2-base setup, rotating around, heading into the main, barely within range of the tank. Risky move here from NightMare. It does take some tank volleys. Oof. Yeah, bleeds out a Stalker, bleeds out a second Stalker. Not the best trades from NightMare, but alas, he's at least containing. That's all. That's his goal. His only goal here is to deny the natural for as long as possible, to contain. Banshee did buy some time, but we're ready for it. We even have the Observer just in case there was Cloak. So NightMare ready for that situation as well, for that scenario. And GuMiho's in a rough position here. He desperately needs to expand, but he doesn't really have what he needs to expand. Stim is still on the way. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. This is so smart for NightMare. For those, I mean, again, like, we have limited scans. Right now, because of our low economy, GuMiho is so tempted to mule, right? He's going to be muling so hard here once he reestablishes his natural. And that means that DT is going to be that much more effective. Even throwing down the high yield supply depot just to break free from the supply block. Workers being main outed over. NightMare going for the mineral line. Just shaves off Marines. And I do appreciate that GuMiho is holding on to that energy. Lock on is brutal. But the Cyclone goes down. Oh my god! We trade as efficiently as possible. There's the Mule Hammer that we were waiting for, and that is going to be the moment for the DTs to shine. As the Dark Shrine is now done, and the Dark Templar, they're coming. Oh boy. Do we have a scan? We're going to have one scan at the natural, no scan in the main, so we have one scan available. So depending on how and when we use... Oh, we used the scan! First one gets spent, which means we have nothing left. DTs have arrived. A turret is on the way. We're going for the tank. We force a repair. DTs in the main as well. We do send away the Prism at least, and it looks like the turrets will finish. Not bad. Oh, never mind. The turret will barely not finish. There we go. Barely does finish up in time. One more swipe. It goes down. The DT survives, forcing out another scan. We defend in the main. Did cost us 7 SCVs, but that could have been the end of the game. Then and there. Like, that could have been it. Very clutch reaction out of GuMiho. Able to prepare. Behind this, NightMare's on 3 bases. He's got almost double the worker count of his opponent. Oh. Forcing out another scan. Oh, we get 2 for 1. Dark Templar and an Observer. Do love to see it. And here comes the main army. I believe charge is done. Yeah, charge has completed. And very similar to the previous game, we're just going for the kill. We recognize that GuMiho is vulnerable, that GuMiho doesn't really have much to work with. He's pulling his own boys. I mean, he has to. GuMiho can't macro from here, but we're ready for it. We force field the ram. Oh, we shut down one of the medevacs. We catch the Marines and tanks. We'll siege. But GG gets called, and NightMare will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. A very aggressive NightMare here, both in game 1 and in game 2. Once NightMare took a lead, he never let go of it. Hyper aggression here in the second game. NightMare able to heavily delay the natural base for so long, and then delayed even further with a follow-up push. And GuMiho just had a really hard time from the get-go, even establishing his economy and establishing his second base. Stuck on one base for so long. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations here to NightMare. He advances on to face off against Clem in the next round. Now, I'm not entirely certain if we're casting Clem first, Clem versus NightMare, or the upper semifinals, as Skillus takes down Showtime 2-1. I'm telling you. Give Skillus a Protoss or a Terran, and Skillus, he can pop off. He can and he will. And with that, it's going to be Rogue versus Skilless in the upper semis. And Clem versus NightMare in the lower semis. And I'm just trying to figure out what we're covering next. Ah, Rogue versus Skilless. Okay. Wait, is it? Yeah.